Hello and welcome to SWIV. Yeah, an interesting game title, I admit. It is basically a Silkworm 4, but if memory serves me, there was some issues using the name Silkworm. So, someone came up with the idea of calling it SWIV, which everyone under the sun knew was referring to Silkworm 4. But whatever, I could potentially have added this to the Silkworm video, but I have decided some time ago to keep individual videos separately, or individual games separately, I should say, in separate videos, for so it's easier to find them for people who may be interested in one but not the other. It is only in the case of very similar Commodore 64 and Amiga versions that I may append them to each other in one video, and of course if I do a let's compare video, then both versions will be playing at the same time. But for overall ease to dig out a specific game video, as I said, have decided to keep these kind of videos separately, which means of course that this video is going to be somewhat short. The SWIV is basically a Silkworm from another perspective. Some extra background graphics, some extra doodads been added to it, but it is basically Silkworm. I think it's fairly obvious if you are aware of the original game or you have watched my video that the similarities are quite extensive. Just like in a Silkworm, you can play the chopper and the jeep at the same time, and the jeep is definitely much more playable as an independent unit in this game, but the game is just not very exciting. I mean, I'm fairly sure I emphasized that I didn't find the gameplay type of Silkworm particularly exciting, and this kind of orientation and school of a shoot 'em up, it's much more to my preference, but it's not very exciting to play this game at all, to be honest. It's, if memory serves me, and it may not, but I'm fairly sure this game was hyped to high heaven, an updated version of Silkworm, hooray! And to be honest, it doesn't feel like much of an improvement. Moving a bit further forward in another game, instead of having individual levels, you have a completion percentage based on how far you get into the game, and you have the shield units like you have in the original game, instead of being a sparkly star fuel kind of thing. Now it's a full bubble, but the function is the same. It is a shield, and if you are already in possession of one shield and you pick up another, you will cause it to detonate, blowing up every enemy on screen. You can also shoot the shield. I never did that in Silkworm, if I'm not mistaken, but you can actually shoot the shield, causing it to blow up, working effectively as a smart bomb. Considering that this is a so-called professional game, made by a so-called professional development studio team thing. I covered on request a game on the Commodore 64 not long ago called Flying Cobra Special Edition, and while technically inferior to SWIV, the pacing is infinitely better than this game. it just feels slow, sluggish, and dull. To be honest, if I didn't find Silkworm particularly exciting, I find SWIV to be infinitely less exciting, which is a bad prospect when you start with a low level of excitement to begin with. The sound effects are more or less lifted directly from the original game, which of course was also released by Sales Curve. So I suppose, I mean, it was their own assets, so whether they choose to reuse them or not, that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's just the way it is sometimes. But I don't necessarily think the graphical aspect is an improvement. And definitely the gameplay is just... When you do a semi-sequel or a full sequel or whatever kind of game type you are trying to make, you need to have enough of the old for the game to be recognizable, but also enough new to make it refreshing and feel new. And there's definitely enough of the old to make it recognizable, but is there enough new added to it to make it exciting? I would say no. Again, I will not deny that this game might be infinitely more exciting if I had someone else to play with, but I don't, and I can only measure these games up as an individual player. And SWIV is, in my opinion, swiftly moving out of my memory. It's just plain old dull. Nothing more, nothing less. And on that note, I'm going to say thanks for watching, take care, catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.